About heroes. And let's specifically talk about the hero that you created, Bishop. So how did that go about? You're in a very unique position because you're an artist, but you're also a creator and a writer. And now you've created this beloved X-Men character. Could you talk to us a little bit about how you did that and how that came about?
Well, like everything else that you could ask all of us, it's fairly simple. It's not magic. If it was hard and if it was magic, it wouldn't happen. With our deadlines, it's got to happen like that. So we were starting out 2 X-Men books. Jim Lee was on one and I was on the other. Jim had Wolverine. And so upstairs goes, you got the original team, the real first class, okay? And they said, according to people upstairs, your team is underpowered, so you got 2 weeks to create another badass X-Men. And while I'm doing the current issue, which at the time was 281, so it was the first issue. The only guidance I got was make sure everybody reacts to it. And so you can't second guess yourself. So I go, okay, so how do I do that? Okay, I got an ensemble, my team on the book. Okay, let me digest all my team members down to 1 or 2 lines, and let me figure out a personality that everybody will react to. Just a simple form. I mean, everything that you do has to be, you've got to, that's the first thing. You've got to narrow it down to its simplest form and then just go ahead and do it. Don't second guess yourself. Don't ask for other people's opinions. You just got to go. There's no time. And so, okay, like for instance, you take Colossus. Colossus is a big, hulking, powerful guy, but he's a man boy. He's not very confident in himself, okay? So what if I had a new X-Men who was really big and hulking too, and he was very confident in himself? Okay, Colossus would feel insecure. Cool, that one's easy. Okay, like what about Cyclops? Cyclops is a born leader, but he hates to order people around. He knows exactly what to do, but he hates ordering people around. Okay, let me make a personality that's a born leader too, but he has no problems ordering people around. Again, I'm going to make it very simple, but that's exactly how it was. And so I created this character, and funny enough, it turned out to be a character, in my mind at least at the time, that seemed to be Filipino. Everything that we're talking about. You know, just, hey, easy. So then I took it a step further. We're fashionistas. We just look at our tribal photographs. You know, we all did it, you know, hunt down the boar and then skin him and, you know, put it together. So, I mean, there were 5 million different fashionable styles back then in fashionable hair. So I go, okay, what if I found a guy who was very powerful like that, but unlike Wolverine, it wasn't a psychotic complex that made him need to kill or want to kill or make the possibility of killing. What if I created a character that had no problem killing, but it wasn't killing? So how do you do that? Well, context is everything. If he was in a nice, peaceful world, that's murder. But if he's in a war-torn world, like Days of Future Past, then it's surviving. So what if you had a character that was born into this world, and the only reason he's alive because he can't survive? So to him, going up on the surface, fighting sentinels and stuff, and surviving to get back underground with everybody else, was just his job. That's all. He felt that it was just, I can just do this. I can do that. So the only thing that's important to him, and again, it's just a Filipino in us, is to come back at the end of the day and say, where's the next party? You know, or you know, where's my girlfriend? You know, just Filipinos are, in general sense, apolitical because the Spanish came, conquered, the Japanese came, conquered, Americans came twice, conquered. But see, the problem, but the thing was, we noticed, oh, they would come, they would oppress, and they would leave, and somebody else would come. So what's left? Family, relationships, you know, loved ones. So that's what we concentrate on. So that's what Bishop concentrates on. He concentrates on his life. And everything else, which everybody else thinks is really cool, To him, that's just a job. And so again, that's just how easy it was to create that. And in our fields, it just has to be.
Along those lines, thank you for that, Kuya. And then Leo was telling me then that with Johnny Bravo's pretty much Filipino too, because he lived at home, right? Lived home with his mother.
Totally, yeah, because he's like this big blonde guy. No, yeah, he's very Filipino, I guess you can say, because he's more of, it's this tough thing that you kind of have to deal with, because growing up as guapo as I am, I was never like a ladies' man kind of person. I know hard to believe. But it's that thing where I think that it's a kind of a Filipino thing to be very kind of shy, kind of not going to go take the bull by the horns, I guess you can say. There's that bahala na feeling. Whatever happens, God let it happen. I'm just gonna ride the wave. God permits, I'll do this thing. So it's a very passive thing. I was kind of a very passive person. Except in my head. In my head, I was like, I can do that. Oh, I'm so much better looking than that guy, but he's got girls, he's a big, cool person. I was not a very cool person, still not. But I actually hung out with friends that were like that. So it was my observation of all of them. It was pretty, so it's kind of like making fun of everybody else that's not me. But it's also the part of him that kind of is grounded in being Filipino is that I want to be seen. I want to be noticed. I want people to recognize me, but I don't know how to do that kind of thing. And I think that's the whole Johnny, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing. It's just he hides it within this big machismo community thing, and nothing phases him. And that's the Filipino part of him. The other part is just all like Elvis and all these other fun people that I totally love. It was based on all things that I grew up with. Mike Jackson.
So it was interesting too when you think about it. All those traits that you talk about, like you're a director now of your own show. You're basically a showrunner. So you're in this leadership.
Actually, not right now.
But I mean, for Johnny Bravo.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. We're going back a little bit.
Yeah. How did that work? And how did that what were some of your unique experiences being the creator of this show?
Unique in the sense that I never thought of myself as being Filipino, as being disadvantaged, as being the person that's behind everybody else in competition kind of thing. Because I grew up here, because I grew up in America, because I grew up around a bunch of white friends, a bunch of people just that weren't Filipino, I didn't really take on that whole, I am being oppressed, no one sees me or anything like that. I still felt different. So that all this stuff is still there, but I never ventured into the whole, I need some minority help or something like that. None of those things came into play until
we pointed out. It's that Steve Martin movie. You're not black. You know what?
Yeah. So. But growing up in the industry, it's kind of like Johnny Bravo was my senior thesis project at Loyola Marymount University, and I sold it a couple months afterwards to Cartoon Network. So it's not like I took that route of I've got to try really hard and work my way up and stuff like that. They kind of plopped me right there in the you're in charge kind of seat, and it's not the funnest place to be in when you're not very sure of yourself to begin with, so you kind of have to sit there and pretend. And that's pretty much what we do. We pretend that we know what we're doing until we don't.
That's all in animation and comic books. Like, it's seriously, it is.
You realize that you do know what you're doing, and the more that you pretend, the more that you take on the persona of someone who knows what they're doing, and as long as you're asking questions, and as long as you're not stepping on people's toes in terms of, like, taking credit for stuff or taking other people's ideas and then claiming they're yours. All those different things. As long as you're being like a student, as long as you're continually learning, that's what was really neat about being at Hanna-Barbera. They told me this is going to be your graduate school. Okay, cool. I can treat this like graduate school. I still feel like I'm like 50 years of graduate school. But that's what I'm continually doing. Once I got into the industry, I just continually ask questions and continually learn. Like, I'm still a director, but I'm still learning from other people. It's like trying to find, you always want to find your peers, find out how they do it, what's going on with them, and kind of like take that role upon yourself and empower yourself to do what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, Rod, can I jump in? It's interesting because we all come from, we have groups. The biggest thing that you guys have to do, or actually continuously we all have to do is actually stay within our group. You have a community. Well, Whilce, he had, I mean, you were, like, Jim Lee was stealing from you. I mean, he's not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. Like, literally, I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, oh, you see his artwork, and then you see Jim's art is starting to morph into this not, you know, in a lot of the Whilce's art. Literally, if you see modern day comic books, I have to say, it came from Whilce, because everyone was stealing from his style, his art style. We were looking at his copying and tracing.